Although there are various violations that occur in the workplace, there are select few that result in more violations than others. The top 10 most frequently cited OSHA violations are fall protection, hazard communication standards, scaffolding, respiratory protection, control of hazardous energy, powered industry trucks, machinery and machine guarding, electrical wiring methods, electrical system design, and ladders. The first most common OSHA violation that we're going to talk about is when employers are cited for fall protection in the construction industry. Employers are required to provide fall protection systems for employees. Therefore, if they are not in place, it is considered an OSHA violation. Also, OSHA standards mandate that walking or working surfaces on which employees are to work have to have the strength and structural integrity to support employees safely. If you remember from earlier when we reviewed the statistics, falls were part of the fatal 4 and leading causes of construction worker deaths in 2015. And as a matter of fact, more deaths occurred as a result of falls than any of the other fatal 4s. The second most common OSHA violation relates to the communication of hazard standards in general work industries. It is required to classify the potential hazards of chemicals and to communicate information concerning hazards and appropriate protective measures to employees. Ways of communicating these hazards to employees is by developing and maintaining a written hazard communication program for the workplace. These communication programs can include lists of hazardous chemicals present in the workplace. Another way of communicating hazards to employees is by labeling containers of chemicals in the workplace, as well as containers of chemicals being shipped to other places. They can also prepare and distribute safety data sheets to employees and employers, or develop and implement employee training programs regarding hazards of chemicals and protective measures they should take during the handling of hazardous chemicals. The third most common violation relates to scaffolding general requirements in the construction industry. Workers should be making direct connections to floors and roofs and be using counterweights to balance adjustable suspension scaffolds so that the scaffolds are capable of resisting at least 4 times the tipping amount. Not doing so can be life-threatening and is an OSHA violation. In addition, each suspension rope workers use, including connecting hardware that is used on non-adjustable suspension scaffolds, should be capable of supporting, without failure, at least 6 times the maximum intended weight. The fourth most common OSHA violation relates to respiratory protection used in general work industry. In order to control occupational diseases caused by breathing air contaminated with harmful dust, fogs, fumes, mist, gases, smokes, sprays, or vapors, proper protection devices should be worn. In work environments where there is a harm for developing these occupational diseases, the employer should provide each employee a suitable respirator when necessary to protect the health of the employee. In addition, the employer is responsible for the establishment and maintenance of a respiratory protection program. Therefore, when employers do not provide their employees with the appropriate respiratory devices or have the necessary programs in place, it is considered an OSHA violation. The fifth most common OSHA violation relates to control of hazardous energy, also known as lockout or tagout, when it comes to machines and equipment in the general industry work. So when servicing and performing maintenance on machines and equipment, and an unexpected energization or startup of the machine or equipment occurs, or there is a release of stored energy, the employee can get harmed. The OSHA standard enforces that there must be a minimum performance requirement for the operation of machines or equipment to control such hazardous energy that can injure employees. By an employer not enforcing these minimums, they are violating OSHA standards. The sixth most common OSHA violation is a standard that relates to powered industry trucks used in general industry work. Safety requirements relating to fire protection, design, maintenance, and use of fork trucks, tractors, platform lift trucks, motorized hand trucks, and other specialized industrial trucks powered by electric motors or internal combustion engines. This section does not apply to compressed air or non-flammable compressed gas-operated industrial trucks, nor to farm vehicles or vehicles intended primarily for earth moving or over-the-road hauling. All new powered industrial trucks acquired and used by an employer shall meet the design and construction requirements for powered industrial trucks established in the American National Standard for Powered Industrial Trucks, Part 2. Approved trucks shall bear a label or some other identifying mark indicating approval by the testing laboratory. The seventh most common OSHA violation employers receive citations for is the inappropriate use of ladders in the construction industry. Ladders have a minimum load they should be capable of supporting in construction. For self-supporting portable ladders, they should be capable of supporting at least 4 times the maximum intended load. Portable ladders that are not self-supporting should be capable of supporting at least 4 times the maximum intended load. Fixed ladders should be capable of supporting at least 2 loads of 250 pounds on each step. Therefore, when employers do not provide employees the appropriate ladders, or employees are using ladders inappropriately, the organization will be cited by OSHA. The eighth most common violation relates to inappropriate use of machinery and machine guarding as a general OSHA requirement. At all times, one or more methods of machine guarding should be provided to protect the operator and other employees in the machine area from hazards such as ingoing nip points, rotating parts, flying chips and sparks. A few examples of machines that need operation guarding are shears, power presses, milling machines, power saws, and portable power tables. The ninth most common OSHA violation relates to electrical wiring methods, components, and equipment used in general industry work. It is important that metal raceways, cable trays, cable armor, cable sheaths, enclosures, frames, fittings, and other metal non-current carrying parts used as grounding conductors, with or without the use of additional equipment, grounding conductors, be effectively bonded where necessary to ensure electrical stability, and that it have the capacity to conduct safely any fault current likely to be forced on it. Also, any non-conductive paint, enamel, or similar coating should be removed from threads, contact points, and contact surfaces, or be coupled by fittings so that removal isn't necessary. Employers also need to ensure that no wiring systems of any type be installed in shafts or ducts used to transport dust, loose stock, flammable vapors, vapor removal, or ventilation of commercial type cooking equipment. Not following the rules established by OSHA in regard to electrical and wiring will result in a violation. The 10th and last most common OSHA violation relates to the general requirements of electrical system design in general work industries. OSHA standard states that electrical equipment should be free from recognized hazards that are likely to cause death or serious physical harm to employees. Because of the threat posed to employees by not following this standard, employees will receive an OSHA violation. So as you can see, from these top 10 frequently cited OSHA violations, several of them occur in the construction industry. By seeing that, you're able to tie in the statistics of what we had seen earlier. Just 21.4% of work-related fatalities occur in the construction industry. The fatal 4 reasons for worker deaths, if we were able to eliminate them, we would save 602 worker lives in America every year. Therefore, more attention needs to be placed, not only by organizations, but by employees, on these OSHA standards, these OSHA violations that are occurring most frequently, and seeing what are the causes for them. What can be done to correct it? What can we do differently in order to be able to reduce the amount of fatalities that occur every year? There's already been a great improvement since 1970 when OSHA was first implemented or established. But there's still a lack. There's still more assistance that's needed.